Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to Crime Zone. Before we get to today's video, we wanted to announce that Crime Zone's official Patreon page is now live. In addition to ad-free videos and other extras, patrons will also get access to weekly bonus videos for our Crimes of the Week and Crimes of the Week International series. So if you want even more Crime Zone content, head over to patreon.com/crimezone for exclusive cases not featured in today's video.
Authorities in the city of Rockwall, Texas say they aren't sure whether it was patriotism or something else entirely that led to the arrest of a local woman this week after she attempted to join a 4th of July parade without permission. According to reports, police were called around 11:30 a.m. on Saturday and were told that 61-year-old Lori Bostic was causing a disturbance. After driving her tractor around the city's 4th of July parade staging area, she attempted to join in on the festivities and reportedly drove her vehicle recklessly into the procession. Despite numerous warnings from police and parade officials who told her she did not have permission to be a part of the parade, Bostic refused to stop the tractor and was stopped after authorities forced her off the road, causing her to crash into a fence. The 61-year-old was promptly taken into custody and now faces charges of evading arrest, interference with a processional, disorderly conduct, and criminal mischief.
What started out as a raid on a home to confiscate illegal fireworks escalated into a full-blown emergency this week, after police tried and failed to conduct a controlled detonation. According to reports, on the morning of Wednesday, June 30th, the LAPD received a tip about illegal fireworks being stored at a home in the 700 block of 27th Street in South Los Angeles. When they arrived, they discovered approximately 5,000 pounds of commercial-grade fireworks on the premises, as well as dozens of smaller homemade explosive devices. Police say that the owner of the residence, 27-year-old Arturo Seja III, had previously made several trips to Nevada to acquire the fireworks, which are illegal for personal use in California. In addition to Seja having no license to buy or possess the fireworks, the explosive materials were reportedly stored unsafely. Though police worked for hours to confiscate the illegal fireworks, loading multiple large trucks and driving them away, at some point they decided that they wanted to deal with the most unstable explosives close to the scene. At approximately 7:40 p.m., roughly 10 pounds of the explosives were loaded onto a specialized armored containment vehicle close to the house and prepared for what was supposed to be a controlled demolition. However, when authorities detonated the materials, the vehicle suffered a catastrophic failure. The resulting blast caused serious destruction across a 2-block radius, flipping cars, shattering windows, and damaging homes. At least 17 people were injured in the explosion, 10 of whom were law enforcement officers, and the rest of whom were civilians. The extent of the injuries reported ranged from mild to serious, but it is said that everyone involved is expected to survive. Police say that the containment vehicle should have been more than capable of holding up to the controlled demolition, and it is unknown what caused the catastrophic failure. It remains unclear why authorities chose to detonate the explosives in a residential area, however. Arturo Seja now reportedly faces multiple charges in relation to illegally transporting explosives.
This week, authorities in Boca Raton, Florida announced that they had arrested a 25-year-old man after a shooting incident in which he claimed he believed he was being controlled like a character in a video game. The incident unfolded on Sunday, June 27th, after police received calls about a man screaming and acting unstable in the parking lot of an apartment building in the 6700 block of Congress Avenue. When officers arrived at the scene, they were met with gunfire as the suspect, Kyle Raymond, allegedly began to fire at them from the balcony of his 5th-floor apartment. According to reports, 2 of the bullets struck a police car that was shielding 2 officers, piercing a tire as well as the vehicle's roof. Authorities say that if anyone had been inside the vehicle at the time, they likely would have been hit. Sometime after firing the rounds, Raymond allegedly came outside and was taken into custody. A search of his apartment revealed several more guns as well as ammunition. He went on to tell police that he believed that he had been poisoned and that he was being controlled similar to a video game character in Grand Theft Auto. Raymond has since been charged with 2 counts of first-degree attempted murder, as well as unlawful discharging of a firearm. If convicted on the attempted murder charges, he could be looking at 30 years in prison.
Authorities in Cobb County, Georgia say that they are currently on the hunt for a suspect after one person was shot and killed, and the bodies of two other people were found in the back of a pickup truck on a golf course in the city of Kennesaw. According to reports, the incident began just before 2:30 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, when the suspect drove a white Ram 3500 onto the fairway of the 10th hole at the Pine Tree Country Club. The truck allegedly caught the attention of 41-year-old Gene Siller, a golf professional and director at the club who went to see what was going on. The suspect then shot Siller in the head before taking off, leaving the truck behind. When authorities arrived at the scene, they found Siller's body on the green of the 10th hole. He had died as a result of his injuries. Two more bodies were soon found in the bed of the abandoned pickup truck. They had also died from gunshot wounds. At the time of this recording, only one of these two victims has been identified, the truck's owner, Paul Pearson. At the current time, little is known about the suspect. He has been described as a Hispanic male with long hair, standing 6'1" and weighing approximately 170 pounds. He is considered to be armed and dangerous.
Authorities in Waukesha County, Wisconsin, say that a convicted bank robber who was out on supervision has been taken into custody once again this week after he went on a crime spree in and around the city of Oconomowoc. The incident began shortly after 1 p.m. on Tuesday, June 29th, when police were alerted to an armed robbery near West 2nd and South Franklin Streets. When they arrived, they learned that a man had tried to rob a woman of her purse at gunpoint, then tried to steal her car, but was unsuccessful and took off on foot. Soon after, authorities received another call about a person being attacked, but this time the suspect had successfully made off with the victim's vehicle. It wasn't long before police were alerted to a third crime, this time at the Waukesha State Bank. Alarms were activated at the building, and it was soon learned that the bank had been robbed. In all three incidents, police received a similar description of the suspect from witnesses and soon concluded that they were looking for 44-year-old Kaya Mueller. Mueller was known to police for a previous 2015 bank robbery for which he was out on supervision. A short time after the bank robbery, police managed to catch up with Mueller and made a traffic stop of his stolen vehicle when it crashed off of Interstate 94 near Golden Lake Road. However, Mueller managed to escape and ran off into the woods. After police initiated a large manhunt and closed down a large section of the interstate, they received reports of another vehicle theft nearby. Authorities finally caught up with Mueller for good on Wednesday night at around 11:30 p.m. after receiving reports that he was in Sauk County. A police officer in the village of Lake Delton spotted his vehicle and managed to pull him over into the parking lot of a Malibu Inn. Mueller was taken into custody without incident. At the time of this recording, charges against him are still pending.
This week, authorities in the city of Ankeny, Iowa, announced that they had arrested a man for threatening to bomb a local McDonald's, a threat that he allegedly made because the restaurant messed up his order. According to reports, 42-year-old Robert Gallwitzer Jr. became irate on the afternoon of June 26th after he visited the restaurant and discovered that they had forgotten to include a dipping sauce for his chicken McNuggets. Instead of returning to the fast food franchise to complain, or simply moving on with his life, Gallwitzer instead called the McDonald's and allegedly threatened to blow up the location, also saying that he was going to punch an employee. When the incident was reported, police called Gallwitzer back on the same number he had used to call the McDonald's. He apparently admitted to them over the phone what he had done, repeating his confession in a later interview. Gallwitzer has since been charged with false report of an explosive or incendiary device and was released on bond on Sunday.
Authorities in Cincinnati, Ohio say that 2 people are dead and 3 others are injured this week following a shooting at a 4th of July celebration in the city's downtown. According to reports, the incident began just before 11 p.m. on Sunday when gunshots rang out as police were trying to clear Smale Park, which was crowded with people celebrating the holiday. At the time of the shooting, between 400 and 500 people, mostly teenagers, were still hanging out in the area. So far, 2 people have been pronounced dead as a result of the shooting. 1 victim died at the scene, while the others succumbed to their injuries after being taken to the hospital. At least 3 others were also wounded during the shooting. At the time of this recording, neither the names nor the ages of the victims have been released. Police have also not released any details about the suspected shooter or a possible motive, but have asked community members to come forward with any information they might have.
Massachusetts State Police say that 11 people are in custody this week after a bizarre hours-long standoff between them and a group of armed men that led to a shutdown of a portion of the interstate. According to reports, the incident began at approximately 2 a.m. on Saturday, when officers noticed 2 cars pulled over on I-95 with their hazards on after they had apparently run out of fuel. Standing around the vehicles were several men, some of whom were clad in military-style gear and armed with rifles and handguns. The men did not have permits for their weapons and furthermore refused to comply with police orders or put down the guns. They claimed to be part of a group called Rise of the Moors, which does not recognize U.S. laws, and said that they were on their way to Maine from Rhode Island for, quote, training. They subsequently fled into the woods. During the hours-long standoff, police shut down a portion of the interstate in an attempt to isolate the situation. The incident finally ended at approximately 10:30 a.m. after police brought in armored vehicles, slowly closing the perimeter around the armed men until they surrendered. A total of 11 people were taken into custody. Although no shots were fired, 2 people were reportedly taken to the hospital. It is said that this was not a result of the standoff itself, but had to do with the pre-existing medical conditions of a couple of those involved. Authorities say that they are still looking into the exact nature of the group, who claim that they are not anti-government or anti-police despite their actions. It is believed that they may subscribe to a form of sovereign citizen ideology, characterized by belief that they are immune from government rules and authority. However, the group has denied this as well. The bizarre case is still under investigation, and the men involved are expected to face charges.